You are going to love this video because this video is going to be raw and real and pretty much a lot of Shirley in this video because I want to make it clear it's the Me Too movement again. Good evening. You're watching Shirley's World. My name is Shirley Husar. I'm the CEO of Urban Game Changers, where we go in the urban communities and we hold elected officials accountable as well as ourselves. Tonight's discussion, President Trump. He used the word China virus. Seems to be upsetting and appalling to the rest of the country, but not to everyone, especially not me, because I said the same thing back in January on one of my videos, and I'll talk about that later. But I want to make it clear, let's talk about America. Let's talk about America in conjunction to authoritarianism versus democracy. The rights that you have in other countries versus here, and how it adheres and affects us. The fact that Americans are so subdued and allowing other cultures to come here who do not have the same health and sanitation values as America. Other cultures who come here and operate in an authoritarian action than the way we do, and then we live with the aftermath of it. Let's talk about President Trump. So recently, President Trump, as you know, was at a conference, and he basically said, look, this is the China virus, which he's talking about the coronavirus. Who's responsible for this virus? Because there's a lot of blame passing. And for some reason, China lives in a facade. The Chinese Wuhan people live in a facade when it comes to their meats and their markets and health and sanitation and sanity within America. A country, China, who operates in an authoritarian manner that people can be killed in an instant moment. They have no authority. You can invade upon people's privacy. You can drag them out of their homes, which I've showed you in my previous videos. You can get welded in with a welding machine, which I've showed you in my previous videos. You can be ostracized. You can be killed. I've also talked about the fact that the Chinese men versus the Chinese women. Many of these young Chinese women who are adults today in their 40s and their 50s and 60s were adopted by white families, because during that time of their births, they were to be slaughtered, but they allowed the American people to adopt these Chinese girls and these Chinese people to come into this country. But let's go back to President Trump. Was President Trump acting in an authoritarian manner when he said, look, this is the Chinese virus? Is China trying to pass the buck? Are the Democrats really the ones trying to drive the narrative of this? The whole thing is Trump's fault? Well, how can you pass blame on a president or a presidency that had nothing to do with a virus that transcended from China to here? But let's look at President Trump. Let's hear what he has to say, and let's see the response from the people as well as the media.
Calling this the Chinese virus, then why do you keep using this?
Because it comes from China. It's not racist at all. No, not at all.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? Then why do you keep using this?
Because it comes from China.
Racist.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China. That's why.
Words matter. Calling it that presents physical harm to the Asian American community. Medical experts and health experts agreed that the proper term is COVID-19 or a novel coronavirus. By using this term, it adds nothing to the scientific community, but causes harm to the Asian American community.
You've been very clear about who you think is to blame.
No, I don't think. I know where it came from. It comes from China.
The implication of using words like that is to suggest that somehow Chinese people as a whole are to blame, and legitimizes the American populace as a whole, or certain elements of it, to discriminate against Asian Americans.
Now let's stop right here. This man right here, if he were in China and he made these accusations against the president of China, he will be taken out. I'm going to tell you that right now. But the problem is the Me Too movement. See, what you don't understand is that you hurt my feelings. You're offensive to me and my culture of people. But where did this virus come from? It came from Wuhan, China. And why did it come from Wuhan, China? Because the Chinese culture have a different situation of health and sanitation, and they don't operate under democracy and a rule of government that has very strict guidelines like America, where you cannot come into this country and be irresponsible with the food, irresponsible with the meats, irresponsible with how it's distributed, cooked, and prepared. There's an irresponsibility that we started having in this country. Do many of you remember when they started passing out those letter grades, A, B, C, D? We didn't have to do that before. But why do we have to start doing letter grades? Because when all these foreign people started coming into our country, especially in California, there's letter grades, okay? I don't know about the rest of the country, but I can say in letter grades in California, you get a grade. And if your kitchen doesn't meet the standards and the guideline of health and sanitation, they will give you a lower grade. And that tells the person who's buying your food, these people aren't that clean. They're clean enough that we'll let them keep cooking and selling, but they're not an A-grade people. So then underground movements of letter grade selling was going on because of the health and sanitation, because of immigrants coming here implementing unsafe and unsanitized ways of being. So when you have a president like President Trump who comes on the scene, he looks at the matter and said, look, let's just call it for what it is. I'm a realist, I'm raw, I'm a cut to the corner. This is the Chinese virus. Someone has to own the ownership of this, but no one wants to do that. But now we have citizens who are in America who are from China. And if you've been following me, I think on December 20th or January, I did a whole dissertation of Chinese people and when they flooded in here, and they flooded very strongly into California. They're known to be in California, and they migrated outwards. And many came here illegally as well and came through the paper sons and fake documents. Make sure you watch that video, and I'll put links below so that you can see that. Those fake documented people have transcended to American culture people, and now they have gotten and adapted to the Me Too movement. They don't like being discriminated against. Now, take away the fact that when they are in the Black community, the Chinese and the Koreans and the Filipinos and the Vietnamese people who do your nails, the Filipino people who are in the nursing industry, the Chinese people who got into the cleaning industry, real estate industry, all these people filtrated in the urban communities, particularly Black communities, and were able to bring in money from their culture to America. So when people not understanding Black America, African American descendants of slaves, and how our money is distributed and dispersed, we can only go through ways of maybe SBA loans, and we really can't even do other people's money, OPA, OPM, other people's money. Okay, we can't do that. We can't ask other people for money because they're at a point too that we're all at the same poverty level. Okay, so because of that and the displacement of us not being able to hire our own people like they do, bring their families in through EB-5 visas like they do, be able to go and wire money from their countries like they do, they have an advantage that disadvantages us. But then everyone else will tell you, including white colonists, the colonists will tell you, well, we're all the same. We all have the same opportunities. And the truth of the matter is that we don't. And we don't because we don't have the same leverage. We don't have the same leverage positioning. Going back to President Trump.
Keep using this.
Because it comes from China.
Racist.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China. That's why.
Words matter. Calling it that presents physical harm to the Asian American community.
It only becomes physical harm to you, sir, is because you don't like the fact that you are feeling what Blacks have felt for 400 years. The words and the ostracized that we've embarked upon, you don't care. But now you want to stand out and feel victimized when this came from your country. President Trump is right. He speaks in an authoritarian manner in the sense that he makes his point very clear, but he's not acting in a manner that China does in their actions towards the people, as this man is claiming to have adhered to in a victimized mode. That is not what this presidency is about, nor the White House. The White House in every action is trying to prepare people to be clean, to be conscious of their distance in between people, and to recognize its origin of where this virus came from, and the people who were irresponsible in allowing their government to reside and regime over them in that manner for decades. So now we have these authoritarian descendants, which this man is, who wants to play the victim card of saying words hurt. Well, why don't you go back to China and tell them how words hurt in China so that you won't have such authoritarianism leadership, which has allowed people to be irresponsible in Wuhan, China markets that allowed this virus to adhere and come about when you cross-pollinate meats that we don't eat in Western civilization. We don't eat rats. We don't eat bats. We don't eat cats. We don't eat dogs. Well, you have to understand our people are poor. Da, 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 da. No, you're not poor if you're here. Because by this time, you're generationally wealthy because we've talked about how you're able to bring money here. But again, it is the responsibility of stop saying, me too, me too.
Community. Medical experts and health experts agreed that the proper term is COVID-19 or a novel coronavirus.
You can call it COVID-19, you can call it the coronavirus, you can call it the Chinese virus, wherever the hell this damn thing came from that's gotten us walking around looking like Chinese people do when they come here, always wearing masks. We don't wear masks in America. We're very affectionate, we're very giving, and we're very gracious to people. Are we perfect? No, we're not that perfect country everybody expects when they come here. But what we've allowed ourselves to do is to intermingle with these third world countries and these authoritarian countries that don't understand democracy or the liberty of safe sanity and cleanliness. Sanitational guidelines do not have the same sanitational guidelines adhered into their DNA or their lifestyle living because how they were brought up in. So they come here and they don't care that the fact you should wash your hands, you should clean your food, because some of these restaurants you even eat today have meats that are laid outside in America, and you guys decide to go eat there. But anyway, back to these people on how they come here with that authoritarian mindset. Let's wear the mask, let's wear the gloves, let's wear the hats. And now look what's happening to America, especially in California, where you have people living in pods. You have people, and I've done videos on that. I showed you the pods. You have us now all in bicycles like in China. So now we're touching all the bicycles. We're touching all the scooters that are left out in the middle of the street. That was not American culture. We're living jam-packed. We have real estate areas downtown Los Angeles that does not have enough parking, does not allow the parking because they want to cram the community. And this liberal, progressive, socialist ideology implemented through Nancy Pelosi and Gavin Newsom and Eric Garcetti, and of course, Joe Biden, and of course, Bernie Sanders, and he really wants that more socialist mindset. Guess what that has got us to? That has got us to this cocktail of virus and diseases and filth that is spreading in this country. But again, these people who are in this country adhere to democracy, speaking liberally about how they are offended and they are appalled that a president would say the truth to the matter that they don't want to live or own up to from the country they came from. But again, yeah, they are supposed to be Americans.
Using this term, it adds nothing to the scientific community, but causes harm to the Asian American community.
You've been very clear about
The Asian American community has to have a hard wake up. And that hard wake up is, see, all these years you've come into America, all these years you've separated and segregated yourself away from the American people by having your Chinese and your Korean and your Asian communities. And now that your communities are having to be responsible from the origin from which you came from, it upsets and appalls you that the American people aren't buying your food. They're not interacting with you in the same manner. And it doesn't help when you say, oh, the president says it's a Chinese virus. Now we're going to be attacked even more. No one's attacking you other than you attacking yourself from your own origin of your country.
who you think is to blame.
No, I don't think. I know where it came from. It comes from China.
The implication of using words like that is to suggest that somehow Chinese people as a whole are to blame and legitimizes the American populace as a whole, or certain elements of it, to discriminate against Asian Americans. And when I say discriminate, I'm talking about physical harm, verbal abuse that people feel and actually experience.
Do black people not experience this? Do white people, shout out to the white colonists and white family members that follow me, white people experience this? Jewish people experience this. Russian people experience this. What makes you think that you're not going to have to be responsible to some way to what this is? Well, wait a minute, this man may not be from China. I get that. But you commune within that community that does a lot of cross-pollinating of travel between here and China and here in Hong Kong and here in Japan. African Americans as well as whites who live here don't travel like that. We don't even travel like that. So every time you cross those lines, you bring all kind of cocktails into our country. And now we have hit the peak of saying enough is enough.
These aren't just semantics here that we're talking about. These are actual events that people are facing.
Would you condemn the fact
Say the term again.
A person at the White House used the term
Just a
kung
term.
flu. My question is, do
Kung
you think
flu.
that's wrong, kung flu? And do you think using the term Chinese virus, that puts Asian Americans at risk? That people
And see, you always get one black person. Let's get the black lady. Let's get the cultural lady to defend the Chinese people. I want to ask this sister right here. How much did the Chinese community defend us? How much do they defend the white Americans? You know, we have always been separated by cultures. And now that we've got this cocktail of Chinese virus, and I say cocktail because we have many things that are going on right now in the world, specifically in California, what I have talked about in previous videos, the typhus, the Black Plague, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, all these things that have come in our community, the rat traps downtown LA, homeless people getting ate up and found dead inside of tents. This has been part of a cocktail of dysfunctional sanitational issues in America. And now just to add a cherry on top of the cocktail that no one wants to drink, touch, or adhere to, we now have the coronavirus. And when you call it the Chinese virus, which is the spread of all of this stuff, no one likes that. No one likes the one who went in there and said, oh, I'm just going to really give you something. You think this other stuff is something? What you're about to embark upon ain't nobody ever seen. And this is history we're making, people.
No. I think they probably would agree with it 100%. It comes from China.
Well, unfortunately, Asian Americans have faced discrimination, have faced these sorts of issues throughout our history in the United States. Americans have always been better because we are a diverse community, because we come from different backgrounds. And that is why we're...
Are we better, sir? Because you and your culture of people don't assimilate. You segregate. If you go to Chinatown right now in the Bay Area or the LA area, there are many elderly people who don't even speak English, who shun you if you're African American, who shun you if you're in their area too long. If you thought of buying a condo or a house in a prominent, diverse area that should be known as diverse, these people segregate themselves. And America has allotted and allowed them to. And by doing that, they have flourished. And we have a whole section of the Korean community in downtown LA, which they made a lot of money off of this hair and wigs that all the Black women, including myself, we buy. So we make these people wealthy, and yet now something has come from their country of cocktails and they feel victim when they have the wealth to adhere and should have been more responsible in China, and now they don't like the backlash.
Words like this from the president and refusing to acknowledge the harm that this does to our community is so troubling.
So harm to their community. There's harm to every community right now. Nationwide, America is devastated because what we are going through regarding the coronavirus and what we're adhering to and what we are dealing with on our daily lives. Just think about it. They are quarantining me and my family in California. We're quarantined. Now, grant you, I was out and about today, had some things essential things I had to do, and that's what I did. But eventually, I don't think we're going to be able to do essential things, because what we've learned that takes place in Italy, and that the death of Italy and the toll death of Italy is no joke. Hey, Lucky, thank you so much for coming on. And Carol, how you doing, Carol? What you up to? Thank you for coming on tonight. Laura's with me tonight. Lucky, Carol's my moderator. Guys, make sure you guys give a shout out. Thank you so much for loving. Say thank you, Caroline, for always moderating and being there for me. And Pam coming in when she can. Lucky Sports, thank you so much. And oh my God, thank you so much for coming on. What is it? Bentley, thank you so much for coming on. You know, the things that we are talking about tonight are real. And President Trump makes it clear and easy, right, Nicholas? He makes it clear and easy. When we have all these cross-pollinations of food, you said, I remember when you showed the shows, yes, the Mexican restaurants run by Chinese, the soul food restaurants ran by Chinese. You know, we make these people wealthy, and then after they become wealthy and something comes back to hunt them, they feel a victim. Well, God bless someone who gave me some money. Oh my God, grateful, Philippine. You go, girl. Thank you so much for that. $5. Hi. You know, true that. We have to be true to what we're talking about, okay? We cannot sit back and not take ownership and a responsibility. But if you look at the liberal progressives, they are out there and they're trying to blame this on President Trump. He should have acted faster. Well, you know what? You should have acted faster too. You are congressional leaders who should have called the president out faster and been responsible more for the people. Don't pass the buck. This is the problem. I think that they act like they're separated from government. When you look and you listen to some of these congressional leaders, they try to act like, well, you know what, Nancy Pelosi, the president, No. You need to be responsible. Now, this is where you're able to learn, my family, the difference between local, state, and federal, right? Because the governors are like the presidents of the states. So, because a lot of you guys don't understand local, state, and federal. You have local, like city council, school boards, water boards. You have state, like the governor, like the senators of the state senators, a state assemblyman. And then you have people at the federal level. So the governors of the states are like the president of your state. So I'm under a liberal, socialist regime. I'm under a liberal socialist regime when it comes to Gavin Newsom. But it is interesting, I have to say, that my governor has had to take a couple of back steps regarding this and be responsible to the homeless people, where he was neither was Eric Garcetti responsible at all. They are moving quickly, and we are seeing less homeless people on the streets of Los Angeles, but not fast enough. And so as far as Congress to blame the White House for not providing or moving fast enough, that's a lie, because Congress is part of the White House in the sense of the White House is not going to be running the ship. It is Congress that runs with the president. So it's these kind of games where they have chess pieces. That's why I teach you, my family, take the time and learn chess, learn Monopoly, learn backgammon. And play that game like I did one night. We did cash flow. I'll do another cash flow night. Understand that they like to pass the buck of responsibility blame on somebody else when they don't want to adhere to it themselves, and that's where they fail. Because see, Nancy Pelosi is a hot mess. Nancy Pelosi is a hot mess, and so is her irresponsibility nephew, Gavin Newsom. Though I will give Newsom credit. Can you believe I'm giving Newsom credit for saying things in his last video, which I believe he's following the rule book of the federal guidelines right now, because he wants that money that is needed state by state right now to address the issues. And so in order to get the money, he has to read the rule book of the federal government. You can't go off and wander and say, look, we want to take our reserve base and start helping other cultures and countries of people, which I think if we had Hillary as president, the American people, as you know, would not be first. This is actually helping people identify the importance of first position. Now, what does that mean? First position means that if you come into America, you have to respect Americans' position first. What you just saw in the video was a man who felt victimized because he wants to protect China, not America. He wants to protect China. See, he is not American first. Family, we have to think American first, because by putting America first, we meet the guidelines of America. Now, many people are saying, well, President Trump is racist. Now, what's the difference between culture and race? It's an emotional, sensitive subject matter, but someone has to take ownership and responsibility for the actions of China and the coronavirus and its outcome of its ownership, that they adhere to the rest of the world. And if we're not going to have an adult conversation about that, then where are we going to fail? Because we're failing when we sit back and pass the buck. Let me show you another article that I saw recently. This one just came out recently, March the 19th. Listen here. China is avoiding blame by trolling the world. Now, China is blaming the rest of the world. Listen to this. China is blaming the rest of the world for this coronavirus. They're saying that this virus is not their fault. It's other people's fault, and that you guys need to understand it. So here we go.
The evidence of China's deliberate cover-up of the coronavirus outbreak in Wuhan is a matter of public record. In suppressing information about the virus, doing little to contain it, and allowing it to spread unchecked in the crucial early days and weeks, the regime imperiled not only its own country and its own citizens but also the more than 100 nations now facing their own potentially devastating outbreaks. More perniciously, the Chinese government censored and detained those brave doctors and whistleblowers who attempted to sound the alarm and warn their fellow citizens when they understood the gravity of what was to come.
They knew it was coming. They knew that this virus was very different than SARS. They knew that their people needed to immediately get into a position where they were distancing them, and they distanced them so harshly because of the death toll going up so rapidly, they started welding people in. But what about the responsibility that they didn't give the rest of the world in a timely monthly fashion that they could have? Instead, now that this thing has gone way out of control, they must find someone to blame. So let's hear what they're saying on these other parts regarding this, because remember, SARS was this is another part of that cocktail virus. You can call it the Chinese virus. We're going to add a little something to it, Mr. Trump. We're going to call it the Chinese cocktail virus. And it's cocktail because we don't know really what's all that's in it. But we know in America, we have all these foreign people come here, and the American leadership has not put America first from state to state. We've allowed the homeless people and the sick people to be in place.
Some American commentators and Democratic politicians are aghast at Donald Trump and Republicans for referring to the pandemic as the Wuhan virus and repeatedly pointing to China as the source of the pandemic. In naming the disease COVID-19, the World Health Organization specifically avoided mentioning Wuhan. Yet in de-emphasizing where the epidemic began, something China has been aggressively pushing for, we run the risk of obscuring Beijing's role in letting the disease spread beyond its borders. China has a history of mishandling outbreaks, including SARS in 2002 and 2003. But Chinese leaders' negligence in December and January, for well over a month after the first outbreak in Wuhan, far surpasses those bungled responses. The end of last year was the time for authorities to act, and, as Nicholas D. Kristof of the New York Times has noted, act decisively they did, not against the virus, but against whistleblowers who were trying to call attention to the public health threat.
Now, remember I showed you that video? If you guys go back and watch my videos, they were doctors who were warning the people, this is scary. They were texting on that WhatsApp to their friends and family, not the rest of the world, to their friends and family and colleagues. This thing is moving rapidly. We don't know what it is, but it's wiping people out. And we're trying to figure out how it's coming about. When they alerted authorities, again, authoritarianism versus democracy. Democracy, we share, we work accordingly, we have a willful act of educating the people. But authoritarianism has the authority to adhere and hold back knowledge from the people and the world and to continue to lie. Because listen what he said. He said they mishandled the outbreak, okay? And they have a history of mishandling the outbreak. You see that? China has a history of mishandling the outbreak. And if they're going to have a history of mishandling, then we know the patterns of China. And they're saying December, January. A lot of talk are saying that this thing came out in September and August. But again, this video is for us to understand the culture and racism and the emotional sensitivity of the subject matter. People have to be adults in the room. Someone has to tell the real truth of this. Yes, we know we should wash our hands. Most of the other cultural people don't. They don't adhere to our laws. They don't adhere to our health and sanitation actions, and the rest of the country is suffering from it. And why is this that we're suffering from it? Because we have not sat back and we have not looked at the fact these people are not as their humanitarian actions aren't the same way that ours are. And this is not good. So I want to show you something else in this video. I want you to see how they eat and how they live. Now, many of you guys remember, I also did another video. This is the one that me and Mr. Research did, okay? Me and Mr. Research, and I think Ruth came on board. This is, what is this? Hold on, I gotta make sure this thing's not up. I apologize. I'm gonna stop. Give me 1 second. I want to do some editing on my own video. Okay, there we go. Because I know you can't see that when it's that way. So let me go back. Now I'm going to show you the screen. Talking through an edit process. Okay, all right. That makes me feel better. This is the video where I talk about the Chinese infection. Stay woke. And this was January 30th. You see that stream? January 30th. And before I did that stream, I did another stream. Not that one. This one. No, I did another stream where I broke down China and I broke down how they came to America. But before, I don't want to really go into that video. Well, that's this one right here.
Where do we go? Where do we go?
That's this one here. Hold on. I made this thing 2 times faster. When I listen to videos, I listen to it 2 times faster so I can go through time. You might want to try that. But this one, I talked about the invasion and how China came here and how they are here legally and illegally in this video. Okay. Let me play a little bit so those who have not seen it.
In hopes of a better life. Located in San Francisco Bay, Angel Island was opened in January 1910. For the next 30 years, it served many purposes, such as serving as military forts and as a U.S. Public Health Service quarantine station, but its original intent was to control Chinese entry into the United States.
It was used for basically detention and the opportunity to question the veracity of whether you were really somebody's son or somebody's daughter.
Okay, so they had very strict guidelines back in the day when the Chinese people came here. And they said, oh, you guys are mean, but why are you coming here? Because democracy, my family, is better than authoritarianism. So then when they came here, the generation later on in the future said the Americans were mean to this generation. But guess what? This generation was living under a regime that had worse circumstances. So we, knowing that back then, we questioned them coming here and we questioned their abilities to adapt and to respect the laws of America.
The purpose of the immigration station was to investigate Chinese who had been denied entry from the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, a U.S. federal law signed by President Chester Arthur that prohibited all immigration of Chinese laborers. Blood relatives of American-born Chinese were among the exceptions to the immigration restrictions. Therefore, Chinese immigrants coined the term paper sons and daughters, referring to the process of buying papers of American-born Chinese as a passageway into America.
Stop. So these people, this particular woman here, see, they were able to buy papers. She bought papers, housewife, San Francisco, California, wife of native. She wanted to be related. 1939. Okay, so she had to be related to the people who came in the 1800s. So all of a sudden they said, oh, no, I got family. And they gave them scripts to learn to be here. See, the problem that we have to understand is a lot of these people still are not America first. They're not America first. They don't have the America first mindset. And the reason why they don't have the American first mindset is because they're still adhering to the laws of China. They're still thinking as Chinese citizens because they don't want to let go. They don't want to let go of their family, right? They don't want to let go of their family and what happened and how they came about here. Let me see who's watching right now before I show you another video. Does anyone understand what I'm saying? You said it's not racist, it's funny. Well, how is that funny? I'm gonna come back to you, Nicholas. I want to know how you say that's funny. 50% of the manufacturing products. Well, let me say this, Shane, this is the problem though. A lot of our products that we have made in America are made in China. And that's another video where we talk about labor. When we talk about the pharmaceutical business, a lot of the things that are made in other cultures, and in particular country of China, should be made here. And President Trump was criticized for that and stopped by the Democrats when he said, make America first and let's bring labors back to America. The criticism that they got came from the Democrats, not the Republicans. And President Obama past regime people who criticized this administration, which was wrong, because now look at the aftermath. Now we're really tightening up the borders. But we need to look at the fact that we're going to probably see America shift more towards India and their actions on what they want to do and maybe work in more of a labor manner because they have operational systems already set up. We don't have those systems set up. We need to go back to the Midwest and Detroit and Michigan. We need to go back to Mississippi and some of the other big cities that have a more spread out environment and not a clustered city environment like California and New York. You couldn't do manufacturing in that manner because land is so high and the density of people are so thick. We need to go where we can spread out and we can bring back those businesses and those jobs and families, American families can be taken care of and kind of break up these cultural borderlines where we see in America where Chinese people get to do one thing and all the Indian people own the hotels, all the constructions done by the Latinos. We need to stop that and start holding responsibility to Congress as well as local government on that matter of how things are made in this country, because that makes a difference. You said thumbs up to that. And you have to understand that makes a difference. That does make a difference. But if we're going to talk about the blame and the outbreak of that, of this matter of the diseases, though, we have to go back to Wuhan, China. Let me show you another video. And again, I agree, President Trump made a right decision in calling it the Chinese virus. Because if we're not going to call it the Chinese virus, then who's going to be blamed for it? But let's talk about the Chinese people and how they eat. Because if we do not talk about how they eat, then we're not going to be able to understand that health and sanitation is an issue. Health and sanitation is an issue because they don't eat the same thing we do, my family. And I'm going to show you something. Put the thumbs up and tell me if you like this video, because I'm going to show you something and I want you to be prepared. It might kind of make your stomach swarm, but I'm not going to show all of it, but I want you to see something. This man is eating a bat. He's eating the bat.
来为你们介绍，我扁呐，来为你们介绍一下这个蝙蝠汤。来，这是一只活蝙蝠，刚刚煮好的哦。来，我们要吃之前，听说要吃之前是先把头剁掉，头先切掉，头切掉呢，摆好，看着你，看到没有？ 然后把皮剥开，把那个衣服有没有切开，剥皮，开膛破肚。
Now, is this healthy for you to be eating bats? Somebody let me know in the chat room. Because see, we have a culture outside of America that has a different health and sanitation habitat of eating and living. You see how he's smiling and this is normal for him? How does that affect Western civilization when we live in a country that doesn't have authoritarianism? But then we also live in a country that doesn't allow you to eat foods that we know are not safe. And also, I, as a Christian, I'm a Christian, even if you're not, it's also forbidden biblically to be eating these type of animals. 666 situation we have here.
这好剥，对，然后我们先把皮剥掉喽，蝙蝠的皮把它剥掉。哦，香味出来了，香味出来了。哦，一阵那个鸭肉有没有？鸭肉那个。
I think he's saying this it has a kind of smell it has, and it's very normal for him. Before you criticize, this is very normal for them to eat this type of food. Now, Shirley, why are you bringing this up? Because there's a difference in eating, in health, and sanitation, and then the viruses that go with these meats, the viruses that are connected with animals that cross-pollinate affect our way of living.
香味已经有了，已经很香。这个你们没有来吃，这太可惜了。
Okay, I think I had enough of that one. That's kind of rough. Let me shut him down. Yeah, that's some deep stuff right there. That's what they eat. That's what they eat. They love bats. If you're interested in bats, that's what they eat. They eat bats, they eat rats, they eat dogs. Why don't we eat that in America? Now, somebody, you guys didn't put in your comment section, write in the comment section, let me know. Do you think that is healthy for America to start accepting as a culture of people? Is this something healthy that we should start accepting people? They beat dogs and cats, oh my God, in their heads, and then they eat them. Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel. And then they get these animals that have viruses, and it gets to people, and then they go from people to people. But I just showed you an article where China's trolling the world, saying, no. We're not taking responsibility for this, but you are eating and living and breathing different cultural lifestyles that we do not like. What do you say here? It's not healthy, of course. Well, see, to them, they think it's healthy. See, again, what do we accept? What do they accept? Because the way they look at bats are different. And the way other cultures live are different. Do you know in certain Middle Eastern countries, they wipe with one hand and then they eat with another? I'm going to show you another video. Let me show you another video. Let me take this off. Okay. Let me show you another video. And I want to have a discussion. Put the thumbs up in the chat room, please, if you're enjoying this video and you like what I'm showing you and discussing. Now, this gentleman has his opinion. This is more of an opinion piece. This came out in 2007. This particular gentleman right here, he is on Facebook, and he posted this, that he's been to the Middle East. I've not been to the Middle East, but I did find this posting interesting. So let me read it to you.
February 9th, 2017, 11:32 a.m. in the Middle East. The traditional toilet is a flat porcelain about 3 foot square with about a 4-inch hole in the center and flush with the floor we call bomb sites. The object is to get everything down that hole. There is no trap on this, so rather smelly. No sitting, just squat. No flushing. You had to hit the hole or there was a big mess. When finished, there is usually a faucet on the wall with a towel hanging there. Rinse the dirty hand with cold water and dry on the reusable towel that everybody else used. That is what you found in gas stations when you traveled. Apartments in bigger cities would have this plus a typical Western type toilet. Muslims don't eat with the hand they wipe with. For being ancient civilizations, they are still in many ways living in the Stone Age. Our standard travel complement included tang, bottled water, and toilet paper.
So now he had to carry his own water, his own tang for his energy, maybe electrolytes. I don't know if electrolytes are in tang. I know it's in Gatorade. And then his own toilet paper. This is interesting to me because how they clean is different than us. I mean, we talk about culture and racism, and appropriate terminology, but are we not talking about health and sanitation? Why are we as Americans not asking the Chinese people, do you adhere to the same health and sanitation issues? Do you guys agree with this or not? Put yes or no. Yes, they adhere to the same health and sanitation issues. If you think that the Chinese people that come here from China are as clean as the American people, let me know. Let me know. Say yes or no. It's not being racist, because see, we're not talking about health and sanitation. We're talking about a president who said China virus, and now they're claiming racism. They've gotten to this Me Too movement on social media, and these cultural racist actions of emotional insensitivity that they're saying that this presidency has, which he does not, because he's a realist. So yes or no? Let me know. Let me know. I want to see that in the chat room. I got another video I want to show, because I think this is important to me to understand. Okay, we got no. Dennis says no. Raymond says no. Anybody at Facebook watching? Give me somebody from Facebook. Carolyn says no, they don't adhere. No, why? Even the ones who were born here, why do you guys say no? Can somebody tell me, why do you think they do not adhere to the same health and sanitation? No. Durham says no. I got all these no's. Anybody else want to tell me a no or yes? Is there any yes? Because see, we already know this is a no, but guess what? We still eat their food. Now, how many times have we've been told stuff like, well, snake tastes like chicken, and this tastes like chicken. And you got to remember, you go to their restaurants, you eat their food, it's all battered in a meat, in a batter, in a salt, in a sauce that was deep fried before sauce was applied upon it. And it tastes pretty decent. Yet you don't know the anatomy of the meat that you're eating inside of this wonton or egg roll or battered piece of meat with sauce on it. You don't know that, do you? But many of you guys say no, because if you went into that back of that kitchen, you get a whole nother thing. We got New Deep said that one. Everyone should adhere to their own rules of law. Nicholas, I don't know. What do you mean by that? Because if you're in America, you can't adhere to your own rules of law, because that's the problem. That's the problem in America right now. We've allowed people to come here and adhere to their own rules of law. And now we got this cocktail of diseases. People who don't get shots, people who have tuberculosis, people who have hepatitis A and typhus and black plague and mono, people who don't wash their hands when they go to the bathroom, homeless people who don't have the same bathrooms that are now provided by Eric Garcetti's as outside porta potties. Is that adhering to law that is in the safety and the best interest of the country they reside in? That is a no, my friend. You're wrong on that one. I love you though. The foods they don't eat. What can how can you identify that if it's prepared in that manner? Let me show you another video. Y'all like to think this is not effective. Now, this all adheres to identifying the origin of a people that's claiming to be victim because of the coronavirus, and President Trump telling China, no, this is your virus, because you eat and your actions of living and your health and sanitation is different than ours. You're not responsible. Well, hold on, Carolyn. What'd you say? He said they should adhere. Oh, okay. I interpreted that wrong. Okay. All right. Okay, good. I'm sorry. I take that back, because I didn't know what you were saying. So I read that wrong. I totally apologize for that, because they should adhere, but they don't. But I think maybe I misinterpreted what you said. Everyone should adhere to the rules and laws of America, or safe and health sanitation guidelines. Maybe Nicholas, if the UN would have been adhere and be more responsible and working with America, because remember, China just came part of the UN 20 years ago. Somebody look that up and let me know that one. If they don't adhere to the cleanliness of our culture, then it should allow it to open up the restaurant. I agree with you on that. New Deep's got it right on the money, because you should not be able to open up a restaurant if you have not been given certain guidelines, and then we see those actions to cleanliness, because you're not going to get that from these cultures of people. You're going to get the grimy, you're going to get the dirt, you're going to get the irresponsibilities because they don't speak English and they come here right from their country and how their country adheres to health and sanitation. And we get the cocktail meals and we get the cocktail viruses and diseases. And now we're all covered up with masks and gloves and sanitation sprays all over the place, which is driving us all crazy. I said our rules. Okay, America's rules. That is correct. I totally agree with you. When they go to their country, we have to adhere to their rules. That is very true, Lucky. Now, isn't it funny when we go to their country, we have to adhere to their rules, but they don't have to adhere to ours. But you know what? We don't hold them to a better standard. That's our fault. I can't blame anyone who comes here from another culture, and we don't hold them to a better standard. Hold on, I got to do something. I didn't erase this one. If we're not going to start adhering them and holding them to another standard, to American standard, then we fail. And I think that's where America has to step up to the plate. Let's look at this video.
Today we're visiting one of Asia's most extreme markets. About a 1-hour drive uphill from the city of Manado lies Tomohon, and what was once the largest market in the city. Welcome to Tomohon Market. I'm here with Ali.
Yes.
Brother, thank you for joining me today. How long has this market been here?
It's been forever, like since we know Tomohon, like it's already here.
Local vendors and local people shopping. Ali has joined to help me get acquainted with the locals.
In English, it's snake fruit.
And the snake skin comes right off. It's like this fruit has scales on it. It's nutso. The concept of normal here may be very different from your own, but I'm not.
Okay, that was a bat. Let's stop right there.
Scales on it. It's nutso. The concept of normal.
Now they're gonna send you. They're gonna sell you this dead bat. See his eyes? See that dead bat? You see his teeth? This bat is for sale. You can see that he died. This one died with his tongue hanging out. See? Now, what kind of virus and diseases that congregated within the saliva of these animals that these people are chewing in their mouths?
Here may be very different from your own, but I'm not traveling here to condemn.
Now, look, they've got she's looking at this dead chicken. Where's this chicken at? Before y'all criticize me, talking about no, because we all said no. There's some yeses that won't say it because they don't want me to stand and call them out on the YouTube channel. So when you say yes, they're very clean people. Yes, we ain't talking about kind and nice. We're talking about health and sanitation because now the rest of us are infected, and President Trump and this White House has made it very clear someone needs to take responsibility. Someone needs to be the adult country in this action, and it's China who doesn't want to adhere to it, and the Asian communities are appalled and they're offended. Well, they shouldn't be, because they have to own up to the cocktail that we're living in right now. But see this little girl? She's already been trained as a young child. This is normal to have a dead chicken dragging on the ground that later on you can eat. This is normal of how they train their children. You understand the difference between American children and other cultures' children?
The local way of life. I'm here to learn more about them.
And here we have snake. You see this? What does this look like? What's that big snake that everybody knows that can snatch you up and eat your whole body? Look at this big snake. See, they sell snake meat. This is normal. See, there's another snake. Look at that big old snake. Can you imagine having a snake? Now, they say snake tastes like chicken. I don't know. I've never ate snake, or at least I hope I haven't. Because, when you go to these Chinese restaurants, God knows we have all eaten. But look, here's snake. This is normal. Now, it's saliva. It's poison. It's a poisonous animal that could kill you, strangle you. But they eat it. It's normal for them.
The Minahasan people of North Sulawesi. Can I ask you, how do you prepare your bat? Locals here are as playful and jovial as...
How do you prepare your bat? He asked them, just to let you know.
Any other market I've been to in Asia. Nice to meet you.
So he's holding the snake. See, they're happy. This is normal for them.
Thank you. But even for me, someone who thought he'd seen it all, this place was tough to take in.
Dog.
It's my first time in this market. I noticed here a lot of people eating dog. Why do people like dog? But not all locals think alike. People will actually capture the dogs, right?
Yeah, our dog here too.
2 dogs.
Yeah, that's why I don't like dog anymore.
So I want to ask you, family, if we're gonna go and talk about these cultures of people, I want you to understand their food. Let me show you something else. I'm gonna fast forward.
Dia nanya ini sih kenapa jualnya tikus gitu, nggak jual kayak buah-buah. She's just looking for money for a living. She said.
So this is just what was most viable for her. She's like, I know how to catch rats. I can catch them, cook them, and sell them.
Now look at this rat. See that rat? That looked like a piece of, what's that? That looked like your Uncle Joe's barbecue chicken. He done left on too long. Look.
Nggak jual kayak buah-buah. She's just looking for money
for a
living. She said.
Watch. So get ready. Look. Joe, Negro, why you done left that barbecue on that chicken on the grill that long, boy? Why you done left that chicken on the grill so long, boy? That thing looking like a rat. What you talking about? What? These are rats. Yeah. This ain't chicken. This is rats on a stick. You know how you got hot dogs on a stick? Well, they got rats on a stick.
Is just what was most viable for her. She's like, I know how to catch rats. I can catch them, cook them, and sell them.
She said like she's taking a bit of profit from selling their rats. So
good. Have you eaten a rat before?
Oh, so she catches them in the street. They're wild. She says, I catch them, I clean them, I cook them. Now, we don't know if she cleaned them, but we do know she cooks them. So that means there's a lot of wildlife downtown LA, y'all. If you need some extra money, go on, catch you some rats and fry them up and say Jojo made them.
Not yet.
Oh, you haven't?
I haven't.
I could be teaching you about rat.
Probably.
Are you willing to try it?
With you, yeah, probably.
There's no such thing as taboo here. If you're squeamish or sensitive, I suggest you stop watching right now.
Oh, can you hear that? Here we go. We're about to see some real stuff on these folks. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Get the thumbs up, get the like buttons, and share this video, because what does this all prove? There's a difference in culture, food, and health and sanitation, which affects our living and what we're dealing with the coronavirus. This is why I'm saying this. There's a tie line to all of this. Like, Shirley, why are you showing all this? There's a difference of health and living and sanitation and the cultural mindset. I showed you the little girl on the floor.
Into the meat market right now, what am I going to expect to see?
We'll see a lot of meat on the table, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Tomahawk Market likely got its grisly reputation because for many animals, it serves as both slaughterhouse and butcher shop. You can see he's kind of butchering a little bit in the back. They keep most of the body intact.
Okay, so he's cooking bats. He's cooking bats and cutting bats.
So he just does a few quick cuts and he just pulls out the bowels.
Yeah, and they burn it so that their skin, their fur is taken away.
I mean, the stench in here is just burnt animal hair. It smells a little disconcerting. It's not the best smell. The cuisine in this region is like nothing I've seen before. Why is he roasting the wings?
Kenapa dibakar ya? Oh, a lot of fur in the wing area. That's why
so we have to get the fur off of the wing too. And the odd selection of menu items here is the result of the mini Hassan people never fully becoming an agricultural society. Jesus! Oh! That's so huge. How much does this one cost?
60 or something.
Batman, you're Robin? You don't want to be the bat here, trust me. We probably don't want to be the Robin either. Without farm-raised animals, the meat here is largely hunted and caught in the wild. Have you ever had bat?
Yes, of course.
You have? What do you mean, of course?
Of course, it's common food here.
He's like, I don't eat rat. It's like, have you had bat? Of course. So instead of pork, there's wild boar. Check this out. He's got the flamethrower.
That's a boar.
Oh, so this one is the boar. Not only are they...
Now he's cooking the bat on the ground. Okay, I didn't have enough. I know y'all mad at me for showing that. Some of y'all say, okay, Shirley, I can't take it no more. I can't take it either. But I had to have you see this. I had to have you see this, because if you don't understand that this is the culture moving into America, this is what's happening now. They've been here so long in this country that they have brought their habits and their sanitational and their eating and all their viruses and their cocktails to this country, and we say nothing. But President Trump called it out. Did not President Trump call this out? Okay? He called it out. And people don't like that. Now, y'all saw them cooking on the floor. Don't tell me you didn't see them people cooking that Chinese, that bat on the floor, and them snakes and all them rats. Who the hell? Why would we want to eat a rat? Why do we want to eat rodents? Oh my God, come on. You talked about, they do not care about refrigeration as much. Oh, come on now. You telling the truth. Peasants running outside the kitchen. Come on. you are telling the truth. Hey, I put a link in there if anybody wants to come and talk with me regarding this in there. Get on there if you want to come in. Let's discuss this matter. Because if we're going to go back to President Trump, for those who might have came in a little bit later, I said earlier I was showing President Trump, and President Trump made it very clear. This is the Chinese disease. But if you've got people from different countries who, like China doesn't want to be responsible. They're avoiding the blame. See, China is avoiding the blame by trolling the world, saying, hey, be careful and dodging the bullet of the coronavirus. Let me tell you what we should do to China. What should we do to China? Not Chinese Americans, but what China has to be responsible for. China has to, first of all, be responsible for the coronavirus and the cost that it cost American people and our government and money that it's going to have to allot to compensate for people not being able to go to work, compensate for people who are not going to be able to keep their job. Who knows if they have a job if they go back, can't pay their mortgage, can't pay their electric light, That is going to have a strong toll on America. That toll should be passed to who? What you see right here. What you see right here. I'm not telling you to go out and beat people locally up Chinese people. I'm telling you the culture of China has to look at this and be responsible. And I would probably have greater respect for someone that can own up for what has happened. It has also taught America a lesson that America has to be responsible for. Before passing all the buck to China, America has allowed itself to become a country that is controlled and dominated through the pharmaceutical business, the labor issues, the things in our stuffs and our clothes. We've given a lot of jobs away through previous administrations prior to President Trump. Those administrations have failed us as people. We as people have failed ourselves by not paying attention to the loss of jobs and the clothes and how our things are brought into this country and how the trade industry was not fair in our best interests. So those costly values that we're occurring right now, someone's got to be responsible for that cost, and that cost should come from these people. Let me give you another video. I'm going to have to do it while I'm talking to you guys. I want to show you another video where I told you, this is not to be the I told you video, but I did tell you many times that we are having to be warned and be conscious of what's going on in other countries, but we don't want to pay attention to it. Now here I talked on this video here, I talked about the effects. To warn you, be blunt with you, and it's not going to always be nice what we're about to say right now. It's not going to be nice, meaning it's not going to be politically in the correct manner that most people would say we should address this. But if we want to save our people and we want to shock you from being caught off guard, we have to say some things in this video regarding the coronavirus. So first of all, let me thank you so much for Mr. Research is here with us. Before I go on, this video came out January 30th, okay? Because I had been watching this virus since December. But January 30th, and I had people criticize me. You're going too extreme. You're going over the top. It ain't that bad. Here we go. We also have a young lady named Edie. I'm going to bring her on in the segment in a moment. I can't even talk. This thing really has a lot of us shook. And I really want to let you know this is a really, really bad crisis. This is a news alert. This virus is growing at a rapid pace. These people, we talked about it, and make sure you go back and watch that video where I talked about how Chinatown was created in San Francisco. And from there, they created segregated sections of the country of America carved out for their people. Their people don't eat like us. They don't live like us, and they don't communicate the same way they do, like we do to each other, like us. And I say that because I think many of you guys aren't conscious of the culture, of the repercussions of eating foods that are not spiritual, that are not spiritually right, that are not found where God has told us we are not supposed to eat certain foods. We are not supposed to act in certain ways. We are not supposed to disrespect the laws of the land, the laws of nature. And now we are living in a time where the repercussion of those actions have affected our community. But what am I talking? What is the coronavirus? Let me go ahead and show you a video that kind of breaks that down. Now, I'm not going to go into that because I know you guys have already seen that. And this is, I want you to hear what Mr. Research has to say, and Edie.
And just like the Israelites say that no plague shall come near me, we're facing huge challenges, and I'm not letting the government off the hook because, Shirley, you know how upset I have been. I used to live in LA about all the stuff happening there. It's huge on my heart. I've always had a big heart for the homeless. I am absolutely grieved at what's happening there. Yes, we need to hold them responsible, but we ourselves, we really need to pray. You know, that is the place where I stand the most, because, you know, God is covering us, God is protecting us, and at the same time, with the other hand, we have to hold these people accountable.
Absolutely. That's one reason why I created Urban Game Changers, because we have to hold ourselves accountable as well as what government has allotted. You know, there are spiritual rules, if you guys agree or not, if you are a Christian or not, there are rules of the land, of the human being law. And what I've learned is, over life and time, there's certain things we are supposed to eat. There's certain things we're not supposed to eat. There's certain engagements of equally yoked and unyoked with people and believers who don't operate by what presence God has put on this earth. Let me stop right there. So there's a difference in culture when we talk about equally yoked, right? Because now we're cross-pollinating in America. We've allowed other people to come into this country, and they call it the melting pot. And I've done a little history lessons before. I told you, I've made it clear to you that America was created by the colonists for the colonists to adhere and separate themselves from Great Britain. You guys know the story of that. America wasn't created to say, let's just bring Chinese and all these cultures of people over here. No, they love the infrastructure and they love the Constitution and the democracy that had come out of what we left from England. That's why people come to America, because what it has in holding its values. Where America is failing now, it has forgotten its origin. It's forgotten what the founding fathers has taught. And now we have allowed authoritarianism people into our country who do not adhere to the health and sanitation, who believe in cocktails and foods and viruses, and then want to claim the Me Too movement and operate emotionally and in a racism facet and manner, and disposition us from the regulation and rules that were originally written for the colonists and we as Black colonist people. And I said we as Black colonist people because African-American people have been here since 1619. Some have said even before that. So me myself being a descendant of slaves, my people brought here as commoditized goods, trades, and service. And we have given so much into this country to now see another culture and country come into America and not be responsible. And we get mad at our president who calls that out. Something's wrong with that. Something's wrong with that. But like I said before, if we're going to look at some of these cultures of people, again, let's go back to that food. This video is a little blurry, but stay with me. If you like this video, please get the thumbs up and share and subscribe. Please subscribe, because the purpose of this video is not just only talking about should President Trump said what he did, which I do believe he was right in what he said. And like Edie said, someone's got to own this responsibility of this virus, which has now become a worldwide epidemic. In my lifetime, I've never known government to shut a country down, shut my country down. My country is being shut down. Your country is being shut down because we can't be upfront and honest with people who are emotionally dysfunctioned by this action, China, who have allowed this to happen. Let's have a conversation from adult to adult and not feel offended by it. It has the feel and the touch of a full circle effect of a plague. Listen. Now, I'm telling you all this on January 30th. I told you this had a feel of a plague. I told you this was an issue. I told you why, because of the rats. And many of you criticized me. You put me down. You thought I'm playing games. I don't have the numbers like woo, 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 and so and so. This lady's off the chain. But guess what? I'm right. Oh, those are rats, by the way. Dog, rats. I'm going to go back. I'm taking it parts. Mr. Research, are you there? Mr. Research?
Yeah.
I'm going to show this video and I'm going to stop it because it's kind of blurry. I know people are going to have a hard time seeing what they're watching. Tell them, first of all, this is on your channel. What are we looking at right here? Because it's kind of blurry, but I'm going to stop it where the best way you can see these animals that they use at these open markets. Tell us what we're about to watch.
So this is an area of Wuhan, like a week, 3 weeks before all
Where is Wuhan? I don't know. What is Wuhan?
Wuhan is in the middle, I want to say southern eastern part of China. China's pretty big. It has several different sections, but it's more so in the middle. It's a little ways away from Bangkok. It's like in between, not Bangkok, Hong Kong. In between Hong Kong and where they had the Olympics. I can't think of that off the top of my head, but it's in between there. And what it was is just a video another guy had weeks ago of the same area, and he was touring the marketplace. So I grabbed that video before it got deleted.
So this is a recent video. Let's watch it. I'm going to stop it in parts so you guys can see. Here we go. Well, Mr. Research, what are we looking at here? It's kind of blurry, but what are we looking at?
So I lived over in China for about 4 months. People got different eating habits. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I go to different parts of the world. I lived in Romania and what have you. Everybody got different eating habits. But here you're looking at basically rats on a stick. This ain't nothing. I eat. I don't like mushu. Mushu is dog. And I'm not harping on people for their particular eating habits if they choose to do it where they are. My thing is, once we start cross-pollinating as people, we have to fully start understanding that some people are not going to stop their eating habits and are willing to go against what maybe they should be doing. And this jeopardizes all of us when they do that. So
do you hear what he said? When we cross-pollinate, it jeopardizes all of us. And now we're already there. We're not starting, we have been already there. See, now the purpose of me showing you these animals and talk about the situation is so that you're conscious. Because sometimes we live our daily lives, we go to work, we go to school, we interact with our families and friends, and we eat and we sleep. But we also live in America where we are having a large flood of immigrants, illegal immigration, and border breakdown problems. We have immigration problems. We're having visas and extended visa problems. And it's so fast and so rapid to the point you don't even see it anymore. You don't even see it anymore. Meaning that you don't see America. You're seeing some kind of new cocktail America that now has to be responsible to the other people parts around the world. Let me see what the family's saying. I just wanted to kind of share that video and get you guys getting going on there. Let me see what you guys are talking about out there. Thank you, Lucky, so much for being out there. Beijing, that one was in Beijing. Know a lot of that's in Korea. We have it in Seoul. Look, every culture of Asian descent has these foods that we don't eat, and it's really spiraled out of the control. And it is spiritual too. And a lot of you guys are saying, I'm not a Christian. Why do you keep harping on Christianity? But it is a spiritual issue. It is a spiritual issue that needs to be talked about. Yeah, I remember, he says, remember you walked through the 10th city months ago? Yes. If not a year ago, so yes. And said this is going to happen. I did. I did. I walked through these communities And for those who may not have seen that video, I want to show you something. This is California. Let me show you how nasty California. Y'all don't live here. You're in the Midwest. You are in another part of America, and you don't know how nasty California has become. Well, California is a nasty place, and it's a normal nasty. This sounds crazy, right? This is a normal nasty. I never thought about saying a word like that. This is a normal nasty. How the hell can you have a normal nasty? Well, you can have a normal nasty because we have I gotta go back. We have people who live in LA, and this is us filming downtown LA. Urban Game Changers. I want you to see something. You saw one of our Urban Game Changers videos. Get the like buttons up, you guys. We only have about 20 likes. Do me a favor. It won't kill you. It's free. Again, I want to see what kind of meat that is. This is downtown LA. Mama, what kind of meat is that? Let me stop. She's cooking on a grocery cart. See, they've come here now. These are the Latino community people. We're talking about Asians. Now we have the Latins, meaning people from El Salvador, Guadalajarans, Mexico. This lady is cooking on a grocery cart, a stolen grocery cart, and never was arrested because the police and Gavin Newsom won't press charges against these people. They have nowhere to wash their hands, and they sell these strange meats. But guess what? It's normal. It's the new normal that's coming to Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas. Shout out to my family members who are watching out there. Louisiana, Kentucky, all you people in northern North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. These kind of people, if they're not already in your community, are going to break the laws and regulation and rules because the liberal progressives, because California is the template of this madness that you're seeing come about, this cocktail of culture. But see, this is a grocery cart on the end of a corner street. Hold that up again. I want to see what kind of meat that is. Mama, what kind of meat is that?
Ese es de salchicho grande.
How much is that one?
The one plate, rice and beans, $8.
Wow, thank you so much. $8. I'm with my friend Deontay from DC. And we downtown LA. See, now they've made themselves a dinner table. Let me set this up for you. This is on MacArthur Park, on 7th and MacArthur Park, over this area here off of Wilshire. And these people have taken over this area. They've set themselves up a dinner table, sitting on the end of the corner where the streets go by. Nowhere to wash their hands, nowhere to go to the bathroom. You don't have to have no letter grade. And they hand the money and the meat, raw meat, to you. Now you probably say, well, Shirley, that's their people. But guess what? These people work with other people who are American people. Where are they washing their hands? And why are we sick today? And many of these Latinos live in Asian communities. Now, you tell me. There's MacArthur Park across the street. They got the food going on. You see, that's a grocery cart, right? I don't need that out there. All right, I'm trying my phone. And where is she washing her hands? You're supposed to wash your hands, right? You're supposed to wash your hands. These people ain't washing their hands. They don't have to wash their hands. Why do I have to wash my hands, Shirley? Why would I want to wash my hands when I don't have to? I don't have to because the state didn't require it at the time. Now everybody's gone crazy. Oh, we got to wear a mask. Oh, we need to wash our hands. Oh, we need to use hot water. Oh, we need to keep a distance in between each other. What the hell for? They eat snakes. They eat rats. They don't pay no taxes. Why should they pay taxes? They don't have to pay taxes. They don't have to be documented. They don't have to be legal. They can be disfranchised from the system of keeping lights and gas running through taxpayers. They just get the benefit from it. And we say nothing. And we say nothing and we do nothing. Well, guess what? Now, because of this action and other actions of Chinese people and the illegal immigrants, now look what has happened. Y'all got a cocktail of diseases. You got a cocktail of filth and movement within America. Filthy, filthy, filthy people. Linda, you do not have to wash your hands. What the hell for? They ain't been washing their hands. Nobody else has been washing their hands. How many times you've seen people leave the bathroom taking a good shit and they don't wash the damn hands? What's wrong with these people? But yet we can't call people out on their BS. Neither can our president, because then he's called racist and then they're insensitive to just raw living. Pam, where the hell you been, girl? We done miss you. Pam is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. So is Richard and Linda. America's way, okay? It's pissing all of us off because we've allowed these people to come here into our country and do all this bullshit, all these actions and do nothing. But like I said, just like my friend Nick said, you know, we have these videos and I've been putting them out there for years, showing you guys this. Now look how we're living. We're now subject to what? We're subject to what? Being quarantined. All of us going to be locked down in houses. What the hell are we going to do with family members you may not like? You got to sit across and smell every night now. You got to be friends with them now. You got to act like you care. You got to grow up and have conversation with your family. That's what God does. He makes you come back together. He makes you get it right. Like our president said it 100% correct. I said it. He said it. I said it on my video where I said, this is the Chinese virus. And Mr. Research said, why do you call it that? He said, I'm going to tell you. Shirley said it was the Chinese virus. That's on my January 30th video. Go ahead and watch that video. Because I made that very clear. I told you this was the Chinese virus. And so now we're going to live with it. So now what is the answer to all of that? I think let's get to some solutions. Let's start talking about some solutions. I think the solutions, first of all, is recognizing we've got a problem. My family, we've got a problem because even if we find a cure for this virus, will this be the end of this? And I say not. Because first of all, they don't have the same health and sanitation guidelines like we do. We've allowed people to come here and to make our communities and our streets very dirty and very filthy. And we have nothing to say but to let it take place. Selling food and junk and trash everywhere. We've allowed this to happen. And because we've allowed this to happen, we're living in a time of an outbreak of disease and unsanitation manners. Let me show you another part of LA. Now, this is an old video. Somebody said, Shirley, I've seen some of these videos, but I have to have you understand this is all tied in with the coronavirus because there's an irresponsibility. Someone's not responsible. Someone is not being responsible for the actions of people who come from other cultures into this country with their health and sanitation actions. This is just the Chinese virus. Who's to say what the Latino virus is going to bring because they keep cooking on the street all this nasty crap and nobody wants to say nothing. But I had to show you these videos. Hold on. Let me take one of this out real quick so you can see it. I had to show you these videos so that you can see on the street videos. I want you to see what I'm talking about. Look at that. No, he's back. He's running around. Look at this. I told you about them nasty bugs they be bringing in the community. So I want you to see the food. Oh wow! He's selling this out of a baby cart chair. Oh, now he's gonna weigh it. Well, let's check that out. He's gonna weigh it. Oh, there you go. All right, so pay him cash. And there's he's covering up. Those are really nice crawdads. Where's the ice at? Where's the ice at? Where's the refrigeration at? Ain't no refrigeration around here. No, ain't no refrigeration, Shirley. Ain't no refrigeration. Ain't no ice. He's gonna use his hands and put it in a plastic scale, not even leveled on a table. And guess who buys it? They buy their own food from their own people, and they intermix within your community. And they don't wash their hands, but we gotta wash ours. We're in trouble, America. He's filling that out of he's gonna cover that up with a towel. That's gonna keep it in the refrigerator. I'm sure Jerry Brown doesn't mind that. That's all good for Jerry Brown. Now, let me tell you how long ago. This was when Jerry Brown was governor. That's why I said Jerry Brown. Because now it's Gavin Newsom, and they have accelerated allowing these people to do even more in the state under the regime of Gavin Newsom. And he's going to pay him cash. There we go. So we got... So as you can see, I wanted you to see, I told you about the food that they sell. I really believe a lot of these people work for these stores and they steal them, and then they kind of steal. As you can see, there's no refrigeration, there's no ice. It's health and sanitation. You see, we start off with, we saw some bugs. Does anyone pay attention to the cars? I know you see all the shit that they got, but did anybody pay attention to the cars and the food? So you've got the exhaust from the cars and all the chemicals that flow from the exhaust and the engines and the dust and the rubber from the cars that are flying on the food on the sidewalk and the streets. And they got the nerves to tell me to wash my hands and this coronavirus bullshit. I'm sorry. Let me stop and continue on. Forgive me for cursing all my Jesus and pastors watching. And you saw how they weighed that food. They sell unrefrigerated food. Again, I'm near MacArthur and I'm gonna say Wilshire. I stumble my words because I'm trying to stay focused and 5,000 things around me. He's playing bachata music. This is a public street. Which, they ain't paying for those things. These are public streets in California now. Public streets don't pay taxes. This is America. Like that man says in that song, this is America. These people don't even pay taxes. They don't even pay taxes. So if we're going to talk about the coronavirus in China, and we're going to talk about the pollution, thank you so much, Nick. China is responsible for 30% of the pollution in the world. Oh, you can look that up too. Y'all look that up too. Come on, get the thumbs up button. Why are y'all just watching? Not at least give me the damn thumbs up button. It's free. Come on. I don't see no thumbs up buttons going up. Give me thumbs up and subscribe. So when I come out, I show you more videos because I'm going to prepare you for some other stuff that's coming up they ain't talking about. And I also am going to do a video talk about the money because they do have SBA loans. But if you don't qualify for the SBA loan, don't get mad for the coronavirus. You can qualify for the grants. But I don't want to go all into that with this video, but I am going to do a video. Get ready for it to come. I'm going to show you how you can make money or get money. I shouldn't say make money. Well, maybe it's make money too. But we're going to talk about how you can get compensated for what China has allotted us to go through. And I believe President Trump should do an embargo. He should stop the EB-5 visas. And President Trump, yes, my president that I love and adore, and the White House should really look at really saying who's responsible and go and get our money back. Because we've got to spend our reserves to adhere to saving lives because this thing is wiping a lot of people out. If you're in Los Angeles, it's horrible. You said, Linda says, I was in California. It's horrifying because you can't do anything. The liberal progressives and the Democrats allow those people to do that. So if they're going to be able to eat and cook in that manner, and then the Chinese people are able to cook and eat in their manner, what good is that? I'm going to put I'm going to post up a link if you guys want to come in, if you want to talk. I'm on StreamYard. You just basically take your phone, click on there. If you don't want to show your face, if you want to come in and talk, you don't want to show your face, you're more than welcome to. And we can have this discussion about what do you think about the food, the sanitation and health, and then the emotional responsibility. Because I showed you this video that talked about how they were emotionally taken back by what happened. And I'm saying emotionally taken back for what happened. You're responsible. You guys have to be responsible. There's a responsibility that you have to have. Oh, I was looking at something I saw on the screen. Yeah, there's a responsibility that you have to have. So let me show you that real quick. I've got to show this video for those who may came in later on. This is what President Trump said.
The Chinese virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot
Because
of
it
people
comes
say
from
it's
China.
racist.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China. That's why.
Words matter. Calling it that presents physical harm to the Asian American community. Medical experts and health experts agreed that the proper term is COVID-19 or a novel coronavirus. By using this term, it adds nothing to the scientific community, but causes harm to the Asian American community.
You've been very clear about who you think is to blame.
No, I don't think. I know where it came from. It comes from China.
The implication of using words like that is to suggest that somehow Chinese people as a whole are to blame and legitimizes the American populace as a whole. Or something.
Okay, so see how this man goes into his own definition of what President Trump said, and he didn't say that at all. He said this is the Chinese virus. Why? Because it comes from China, period. Because it comes from China. That's not what he said. He said no, he didn't. You're making false accusations, false fake news, NBC. Get off of this Me Too, victimize. We're victims of American people attacking us from our homeland countries. Bullshit that they've allowed to spread across the country where millions of people are dying. We need to stop this madness. These kind of conversations have to end, because if the president is right, he's right on this factor. He called it out for what it is. But you know how the media always got to find one good Negro to be out there and act like they're going to speak for us, like this girl.
Say the term again.
A person at the White House used the term kung flu. My question is, do you think that's wrong, kung flu? And do you think using the term Chinese virus, that puts Asian Americans at risk, that people might target them?
No. I think they probably would agree with it 100%. It comes from China.
Well, unfortunately, Asian Americans have...
It comes from China. Why are we complicating this? You're not going to pull this out of perspective. Oh, he's an evil... I told T. West back in January, and T's gonna call me out on this. Shout out to T West if you guys have not seen his video. I told T West, I said, T, this is called the Chinese virus. He said, Shirley, you can't say this. Now we're gonna do a live feed, and he's gonna probably have to admit, you said that. I said, yeah, they call it the Chinese virus. But I want to show you something, what has happened now. I want to show you how this disease, this video came out, when this video come out? This came out March the 20th. These days are going by so fast. Don't ask me what today's date is. What is today's date? What is it? Somebody puts today's date in the chat room. I want you to see what's happening in Italy. Italy is where we need to watch. Okay. Now I'm moving into what is the solution? What should we be prepared? I want to talk about preparation. We need to prepare ourselves for what is about to happen. Because if we are not going to really adhere to the law of this administration telling us to keep social distancing, we can have this outburst happen here. Listen.
But they haven't run out of respect for the dead at Cremona Hospital. They've run out of room at the morgue, but they haven't run out of respect for the dead at Cremona Hospital. The next batch of the lost waiting for cremation are laid out in the hospital chapel before collection. Their families couldn't even say goodbye. They're all in quarantine. It's a recurring theme now. Everyone dies alone. They came from here, the hospital's intensive care unit, which is on the brink of collapse. This is what it looks like when the virus overwhelms, and here in Lombardy, it's overwhelming. These patients are critically ill. In all probability, they won't make it. The staff have no cure available to them. They're just trying to keep them alive. Every 13 to 16 hours, they turn the patients over to relieve the pressure on the lungs. Without doubt, she wouldn't survive without constant attention. The patient.
Do we have this much staff to cater to each people? My God. This video's today, by the way. Today.
Are highly contagious. Where possible, they're observed from a distance, but most of the time, that isn't possible. Nobody takes any risks. They wash and sanitize constantly. Gloves, masks, and protective clothes.
Look how much clothes they've got. Gloves. They've got a undergarment, a mask, a shield. Then what the hell is this thing? What is this virus? Well, ain't nobody got a cold like this. Y'all need to start paying attention, taking this shit more serious. Okay, this ain't no cold. What kind of cold do you drape your body like this for?
Are regularly changed. In truth, these men and women are exhausted. The system is at breaking point, and they are as well. But they keep going. They aren't the front line in this war. They are the only line.
It's a very dangerous, is a disaster, is a tsunami. And we are here 12 hours a day. Only we are going to home for a few hours and come back here for the work, because we are here for the patients.
The first, perhaps only bit of good news for the teams here is this man. We couldn't approach him. He's still too weak, but he waved. He is recovering. After 2 weeks, he is getting better.
Oh, God bless him.
In that 2 weeks, though, not one other person on this ward improved, or worse, they died.
Oh, my God.
What's really interesting here is that now...
My God. They were only able to save one person from this ward. Look how this man is protected. Goggles, head, gloves, mask. This is nothing to be playing with, my family. We've got to be better prepared for what is about to what we're embarking upon. Look what this Chinese virus has allowed it to come in this country. Their selfish act of this cocktail of unsafe sanitational practices, unsafe sanitational worldwide practices that now has adhered to Americans coming into America. We've allowed this to come. So don't tell me that this man is a racist president. Don't tell me that he's insensitive of other cultures. He is a man that called it for what it is and what it was.
They've had to extend the intensive care unit, but now it is absolutely full. It's absolutely full in every hospital in Lombardy. They're hoping that some can be taken away. And the other really frightening development is that the patients are getting much, much younger because they are not being treated in hospital because there's no room for them. And that is a big, big change because the virus has mainly affected the older age groups. Now they're talking about people in their 30s and 40s. That hasn't been seen anywhere so far.
The only illnesses being treated in Cremona Hospital now are linked to the coronavirus, and it's spreading.
We opened this side of the department to intensive care only yesterday, and today is already full.
Also, in 1 day, it's full.
In 1 day, less than 1 day, yes.
Emanuela Catanacci is a neurosurgeon normally. Now she's working in intensive care. She asked to send a message to the world. Lockdown.
If you can see what's happened in other country or in other part of your country and wait to do something, I think now it's not more an option. Maybe at the beginning we didn't know exactly what would be happen, but now we know what happened. It's you don't think that it's happening here and it can't happen everywhere else.
It will.
Because it will if you don't do anything to stop it.
This very, very sweet woman gave us a message, my family. This very beautiful, sweet Italian woman. God bless her. Keep her safe, Lord Jesus. Help her go about her job and help her people. Because the Italy people are suffering right now. This ought to break your heart. This should break your heart. The irresponsibility of one country has affected the world. And listen to what she's saying. Listen to what she's saying, my people. I'm serious. I need you to, I'm gonna rewind it. I listen to this message of simplicity but truth of what she's giving out to the world that we have to be conscious of.
Lockdown.
If you can see what's happened in other country or in other part of your country and wait to do something, I think now it's not more an option. Maybe at the beginning we didn't know exactly what would be happen, but now we know what happened. It's you don't think that it's happening here and it can't happen everywhere else.
It will.
Because it will if you don't do anything to stop it.
In Lombardy, they haven't run out of hope, but they're struggling with pretty much everything else. They're waiting for the epidemic to peak, but it could be weeks. It could be much longer.
They're waiting for the epidemic to peak. This is why I said for those who said for every pain there's a gain, watch the stock market because they're going to sell the stocks are going back up. But remember, we've not peaked. Italy has not peaked. And truth be known, China has not peaked because they lie. I don't believe China anyway. Nobody should believe China. Iran has not peaked. When they say that, so those who may Shirley, I don't understand what they mean by that. That means that it has hit its highest peak of this disease and they have more of a control of it. And now they see a decline in it. That's what they mean by that. There is no decline. This is on an upswing mode. This is why we have to have alcohol, wash our hands, stay sanitized, and stay away from people. Because like I told you, in particular, California is the most vulnerable and the most dangerous place to live in America right now because of these people who have invaded this country. I call it a country because I feel like we're in some other country. I don't feel like I'm an American in my own state because of these immigrants and illegal immigrants that I showed you just a second ago, how they don't wash their hands. Let's continue.
Stuart Ramsey, Sky News, Cremona, Italy.
Dear Lord, I just want to say a prayer to the people in Italy. I pray that you help these people, help them have an understanding of where they are and give them strength, Lord, because I know that they're hurting and I know they're not happy and I know many of their people are dying. But Lord Jesus, I just ask that you help them during these times and help us during these times. I was watching the chat room. I want to go to Lucky. Lucky, you said something which is so true. Let's see if I can find that one. Where's Lucky? Lucky said, this again, a difference in culture. Where is that at? Hold on. I don't want to say it. I want to show it. Where was it, Lucky? Okay, because I'm looking at my phone and I'm watching what it shows me through this app. Okay, I'm going to tell you what she says while I look for it. Lucky said it's because of their culture. Well, see, these cultures of people, they all kiss each other. You guys know how they greet each other? And oh, here it is. China did it. China did Italy wrong. China did Italy wrong. China made it commercial telling Italian people it's okay and kiss and hug Chinese people. Well, guess what? This kissing, this hugging, this grabbing, this greeting. Now we're all isolating each other because see, that spreads the virus more. You know, in those countries, they kiss each other's cheek. They kiss each other's cheek. We don't really do that. That's one reason that's different. I had another video, and I saw that on my phone. Who sent me that video? It said, and it wasn't in this video. It said that that they have sent doctors to China, but the problem is in the doctors that they send to China. The Chinese people, excuse me, they sent Chinese doctors to Italy, but they said the Italian people. This is what the Chinese doctor said in China. He said the Italian people are still partying and still socializing. The young people are. They're not taking this serious because they have this attitude, well, I'm young, I'm healthy, that's for the old people. I'm not wearing all that gear. If I get it, I'm going to live. But now they're finding out that they're dying and they're causing the spread to be even more. Now, you remember this disease also goes, this virus, I call it disease, but it's a virus. This virus goes dormant. And from my understanding, and I'm not a medical specialist, so let's disclose all this stuff that I'm sharing is just opinionated news, in my opinion only. It does not adhere to the health criteria that we're told to listen to. I totally suggest that you go to the websites that I'm going to recommend below on this website, and you'll see it trolling after this video ends, where we need to go to cdc.gov or cdc.com, one of those two, and please follow the rules and regulations of the federal government of what you need to do to protect yourself. But what we are learning from other cultures of people is the social distancing is the main key thing. But you can't do social distancing when you have cultures of people who have come from other cultures who don't do social distancing and are not going to respect the laws of America or democracy that we live in. But instead, we are working with people who live under authoritarianism, and that's a problem. Okay, so that's what T. West said. It subsided in China, but how? Well, T. West is going by. Let me say this about T. I love T. The problem me and T don't agree upon, I don't believe nobody in China. Don't believe them now. We had that when the last video you see that T's on, Byron and I had me and Byron on the same page. Shout out to Byron. He also agreed with me that T, you kind of like catering too much to these Chinese people. And I told him, I said, this is the Chinese virus. He didn't like it. It melts into the lungs. It's asthmatic. So, be careful out there on what you inhale and who you inhale. The recycled air on airplanes is an issue. Immigrants in Europe are out of control legally and illegally. Why? I'm going to tell you why. Because of sanitation and health factors. Because in their culture, we saw that little girl, they start their children young not to understand the importance of cleanliness. What they find clean is different than what we find clean. Okay? Because just Richard, let's just go ahead and call it the Chinese virus. Let's listen to our president and call it for what it is and drop the ball and call it for what it is. You say it's a bioweapon, huh, Lucky? Shoot, I've heard that before. Hey, you guys, please get the thumbs up. It really means a lot if you can share this video. Get the thumbs up if you like what I'm saying and what I'm sharing for you, because it is social etiquette to support a sister online. I don't make a whole bunch of money from this. For those who make donations, it's such a blessing if you can. But if you like the information I'm providing for you, because tonight we're tying the understanding of responsibility and irresponsibility. We're talking about the understanding of culture versus racism. We're talking about the understanding of the tie lines of basically saying, okay, China, you need to be responsible. You eat weird foods. Your foods and animals that you cross-pollinate, it has viruses with it. And there's some repercussions and responsibilities that American people are not conscious of. See, many of us would never think like this because we weren't raised like this. We weren't raised of animals, live animals roaming around dead meat, and then they're cooking that. We're taught with chicken, right? For those who are cooks, when you cook chicken, raw chicken, you can't put it next to cooked chicken because you can get salmonella poison, right? They don't care about that. They have their cooked meats with their raw meats with their live meats. That's crazy. But that's what they do in other cultures. Now, many people say, whoa. I travel a lot, not me, but there's other people who will say other people. who have told me, Shirley, I travel a lot. You need to respect and understand that's them. But those same people, that's them, has created these cocktail diseases and viruses that have now started to spread around the world, that we are really not fully disclosed what it consists of, other than it has to do with the fact that we're not clean. And why are we not clean? Because we've become a cocktail country. We're America, the home of the land and the brave and the cocktail. And we've all in drinking this cocktail people. We eat their food, we breathe their air, we let them go ahead and not clean their streets and cook food in their backyards. And guess what? We're now dealing with the aftermath of it. If you want to come in, I am on StreamYard. Yes, I am. Just to let you know, Lashane. It is important that we continue to understand that. It is a virus. And people say, oh, it's like a cold. I don't know any cold that has you wrapped up like them people in Italy. Did you see those doctors and how they were just all wrapped up and quarantined them asses up? That is some crazy stuff. That is some crazy stuff. We are now the melting pot of cocktail diseases. We are a melting pot of cocktail of diseases, my people. I'm gonna see if I can show you a video. I talked to Phil. Shout out to my brother Phil. He is Phil from the Advice Show. If you guys ain't watching Afro Synergy News, something's wrong with you. Because Afro Synergy News is real, it's raw, it's in your face. And I love me some Phil. Phil's losing weight, by the way. I said, well, Phil, what you doing losing all that weight, boy? Boy, you looking kind of skinny there, boy. You done put them biscuits down. Trying to get all sexy for somebody. We all know Phil's married, by the way. That's a whole nother conversation. Okay, but he's a good man. All right, so Afro Synergy News. This is Phil from the Advice Show. Phil took me to his Instagram channel. Y'all, look at Phil. Look at Phil. Look at Phil. This is Phil here. Phil got his mask. Phil said he ready. Now, Phil, you got your head out here, bro. You might want to put your head in, but this ain't the video. This is not what I want to show y'all. Get ready. Get ready, family. Get ready. Pay attention. Some of y'all, wake up. Look up. Look up. I want you to look up because some of y'all just be watching me and you ain't and then you're not looking. You got to see this video. Phil posted this video. See, now this is in America. This is in America. Now, he didn't say what city this is. I know Phil lives outside of Houston, Texas. Shout out to my Texas family. But look, this is where I say they have brought their Chinese kitchen ways into this country. And now this is what we're dealing with. Listen.
Like clockwork, we have some black folks taking pictures outside of Chinese restaurants feeling like they done something great by still supporting them. We're not going to get into the racism that's been shown to black people over the many years by this particular group. Our brother caught workers at Lee's Chinese kitchen washing meat in a nasty sink. He also filmed them having meat on the floor. Protecting your health isn't xenophobia or racism. Those words are used to shame and bully us into submission. Forget that. Protect your health at all cost. Forward.
Listen to what Phil is saying here. They use bully words of submission. You nigga, get away from here. Get away from here. We're cooking our food outside in the back of our alley of our business. And we could do this because we do it in China. Shirley, stop it. No, I'm being real. I ain't stopping nothing. I'm going to show you the truth. The truth will make you free. That's what the Bible says.
Brushes out. She said we can't. I come to wash the brushes out. We want to wash this. We want to use this.
No. We can't let you guys use this.
Why? What's that meat right there for? This what you serve people? No. You cook that for people?
No, we wash it.
Y'all wash the meat in there? Well, that's dirt. That sink is dirtier than the It's dirtier than the meat. It's gonna be dirtier than if you washing it. This is outside, man. People come out there and piss and shit in that sink. That's not sanitary, man. I'm gonna call code enforcement. Anybody know what she's saying? Let me know. I'm finna wash my brushes. But why is the meat sitting in that nasty sink though? Oh yeah, y'all is, because I know that's what y'all got noodles right there. Y'all got the meat on the floor in here. You can't do that, man. Let me hold that hose. I need to clean up. We did y'all parking lot. I sue you, because y'all know right. That's not right. Give me the hose, man. Give me the hose. My boss said, give me the hose. I need to clean this. I need to clean this. We did y'all parking lot. He said I can use this hose anytime. Man, give me the damn hose, bro. Give me the hose, please. Give me the hose. Gracias. Soy sauce and bag. Hose. The hose. Let me use it. I come to you.
He said gracias. I don't think they speak Spanish, bro. He said gracias. I'm going to let it play. I'm going to let it play.
Use it. Yeah. I need to use it to get the stuff off before it's bad. Take that meat to the dumpster. Ma'am, why is you putting that meat? You're going to serve that meat to people. You need to take that to the dumpster right there. You need to take that meat and throw it away. Oh, you cooking that for people? Okay. I'm going to show y'all where we at, y'all. We right here. Uncle Poop, we live. I got my partner with me. We right here at the damn List Chinese Kitchen. It's in Newport Richie. Do not come here and eat. They as nasty as fuck. Y'all just seen that, right?
Where is Newport Richie? I don't. Someone right? Is that Florida? Is that someone said Florida in the chat room? I don't know where the hell this is. Newport. He said, y'all, this is in Newport Richie. Newport Richie up there showing some nasty ass cooks, man. Woo. Anyway,
I'll call code enforcement. Brushes out. She said we can't. I come to wash the brushes out. We want to wash this. We want to use.
Now see, he's at work, and he was told by the owner, "I need to wash my brushes." So this is where we wash our brushes. And he was shocked. He said, "Hold up, y'all washing meat out of this sink?" Now she's hiding. See how she uses her body to hide that meat? Oh, now we didn't already see it. Now she don't speak English. How the hell she don't speak English? But the kids speak English. But guess what the kid's habit is? He's got his hands in his pants scratching his dick. What the hell that little boy scratching? We don't know. And then he's learning from his parents. This is what I'm talking about. He's learning from his parents how health and sanitation actions are with their culture of people. Forget about America. He said, but what about that additional meat, my friend, over there on the floor? He said, bro, what about that additional meat? You need to get that meat off the floor. So now they're blocking him again, and she's trying to finish washing her meat. No, you need to give me the hose, he said. That hose is used for me to wash my brushes. You don't own that hose. The owner owns the hose, and I have to clean my brushes. This is what I'm talking about, health and sanitation. This is why we have coronavirus. Coronavirus, we don't know what's in this virus, right? But it's a cocktail of viruses that you see. You know, salmonella comes from birds. Now, I think that may be a chicken or a turkey. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, so she gonna put the meat on the floor. She gonna put the meat on the floor and then kick him out. Now I want you to look how nasty this back area is. This is behind the property. It's some kind of alley or something. There goes a grocery cart, and he gonna walk to the front. They got a basketball court, and then they filming him. One of the age groups, they filming him like, see, this black man is harassing us, and we can easily call out black people because they get in trouble faster than us. And see, he called them out. He didn't put the ad phone number on there. Oh, there's partly their phone number. This is what I'm talking about, family. We're talking about health and sanitation of cultures of people that are now in America that don't have to adhere to what we have going on. Oof, I done had enough of that. Oh, this make you not want to eat nobody's food. I cook, and I like to eat my own cooking because I'm not gonna be doing this Dash Door and Postmates from these places. Y'all shouldn't be eating from these places right now because we're dealing with a cocktail collaboration of stuff that we don't know what the hell is going on. Linda says, why is America? This is why America has to get it together. It has to get it together. We're not going to get it together. I'm going to tell you why we're not going to get it together, Linda. We don't see a problem. I'll wait. We don't see a problem. When you don't see a problem other than when it hits you in the face to the degree that we're hit with right now with this coronavirus, I'm fucking quarantined, excuse me for cursing. I can't go nowhere. I'm allegedly not supposed to go nowhere. And if I go out, I have to go out for social reasons, maybe to get some air and walk, and then keep myself 6 feet away from people. And you gonna tell me that America has to get it together when it doesn't even think it has a problem? That is the problem. If you don't think you got a problem, then what can you do? Look how she handled that meat. Did she have her gloves on, Lucky? She was unlucky. We were unlucky to see the situation of the reality of this. And how she gonna cook that meat? You think she's gonna watch that meat? And somebody gonna walk in that restaurant and say, oh, look, the plate looks good, it tastes clean, and everything is dirty. Everything is dirty. So if America doesn't see there's a problem, America doesn't realize, yes, you have rules and regulations. Yes, you said there's letter grades. There's letter grades when they go out and eat these foods. Because remember, they're not telling us what this virus consists of, how it came about. Some of us say it's bad DNA, and they said, no, they found out it's not bad DNA. This is what they're telling us. They got to tell us something to calm the masses. But what is the reality? It adheres to the fact that there's an irresponsibility of cleanliness, right? We know that much. So because people are not clean and it's an airborne virus, it roams in the air, it floats where you can't see it because you're congregated with groups of people. It's affected our lives, our spiritual, physical, and mental lives. And yet we want America to get it together? Lucky. If you don't recognize the problem, how can you find a solution? Somebody talk black to me. Shout out to Vicky Dillard. Yeah, that Wonder Meat. That's what it's called. It should be called Wonder Meat. Wonder what kind of meat it is. Wonder, like the Mexican people. I said, what kind of meat? She said, chicken grande. She said, grande, chicken grande. That's what she was saying. I know. I had to watch that video over and over because I didn't understand what the hell that woman was saying. Yeah, Wonder Meat. All these cultures. Now I'm not gonna just say Chinese, but other cultures of people coming in here with the Wonder Meat, and it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. You know, how cook their food? They don't cook that food well. A lot of times they might serve you raw chicken, but you don't even know it because it's smothered and cut up, deep fried, battered, fried quickly, glazed with sauce, and you just a chewing. You don't know that you're eating pink raw meat, and the next morning you wake up sick. I'm just trying to keep it 100 and real. That's all I'm trying to keep it 100 and real. Thank you, life. Thank you, my king. You know, I always try to keep it real. Somebody got to cut to the chase. Oh, I didn't know Kenny Rogers died. Rest in peace, Kenny Rogers. Somebody's got to keep it real. We losing a lot of people. Larry Hagner, he passed away too. Yeah, somebody's got to keep it real. We've got to keep it together in America and unite, stand together, American people, of what it means. I think we have to understand and connect the dots, and then not allow the people who get part of the dot connection to pivot away. And I think Phil said it. What's that word? Phil, I'm going to zobophobia. I can't understand. Let me highlight this. You guys don't need to see it. This is what Phil said from the Advice Show about these people who are cooking on the street. I like how he said it. I'm gonna just read it. Let him say it.
He also filmed them having meat on the floor. Protecting your health isn't xenophobia or racism. Those words are used to shame and bully us into submission. Forget that. Protect your health at all cost.
Okay, now listen to what he's saying. Protect your health at all costs, right? Because it's not about racism. It's about the fact of how now they're going to say you're shaming us, you're bullying us into submission. Well, I wouldn't use the word bully or shaming, but you do need to submit and adhere to Americans' guidelines. You need to submit people to American guidelines, because if you're going to come into this country, America, and you don't want to submit to our guidelines and our health and sanitation rules and regulation, then American people are going to deal with the repercussion through health and sanitation, the outcome. And that's what we're dealing with now. Because we have been too scared to say something, too afraid to enforce law. And we, the American people, have been wronged by allowing elected officials like Gavin Newsom and Eric Garcetti in California, who've allowed all that filth and those street people on the street cooking and selling crabs and clams out of baby cart chairs. I just showed you. People selling out of grocery carts. I just showed you. I would love to go film more. My family says you have filmed enough on the street. If I could show you what they are doing now, you guys would turn your stomach in your heads. But guess what? It's now legal. It's legal. Now, how America is that? How America is that? We have to understand for every action is a reaction, and for every non-action is the aftermath. Thank you so much for typing it. That's the word. Couldn't say it. Zobophobia, azumophobia, never mind. Y'all pray for me. Some of these words are special. It was like, first I had to get the one down, authoritarianism. Like, what the hell is authoritarianism? But that's how China acts and what it does to the people. So what should we start be looking on? Let me show you one more video and then I'm going to bring this to a final head. Thank you guys for watching. Please get the thumbs up button. Get the thumbs up. Get the thumbs up. Let's share. Let's talk. Let's keep it 100, because the more 100 we keep it, the better we are as a people. This is the website that you need to go to, the cdc.gov. If you are feeling the symptoms, if you're an older person, medical condition, and how to prepare the family. This is the website to go to. I will put the link in the description below. But if you go to this, I'm gonna make a copy. If you do go to this website, make sure that you go to this website, and I will put it in the link below if you're starting to feel these symptoms. And then you could also look on the fact of how to get the benefits, because the federal government is supposed to be allotting checks, grants, and they're also providing loans for small businesses. Okay. But anyway, this is the video I want you to see. And subscribe to Sky News. Shout out to them, because they have been providing some really critical videos, which I have really enjoyed. I really have enjoyed the outcome of it. Let's look at this one right here. This is
some breaking news coming into us
today
from NHS England, and it is an update of some of the numbers of those who have sadly died after contracting coronavirus. We're hearing a further 39 people who tested positive for coronavirus in England have died. That brings the total number of confirmed reported deaths in England to 167, according to the NHS. Yesterday, across the UK, we had 144 was the number of deaths. We had one confirmed in Wales earlier today, taking the total across the UK to 145. But that is a further 39 people in England who have sadly passed away after contracting coronavirus. The total number in England now, 167.
Look, this virus is no joke. It's no joke. And I think we all know that. And we're not calling it a joke. But I think what we have to understand is the way we make sure we stay safe and sound and healthy is not only wash our hands, but really adhere to the laws that are being pushed out there. Please keep social distances between each other. Please continue to share and like this video. Please get the thumbs up real quick. Just let me know that you're out there and that you appreciated tonight's video. If you guys can put in the chat room just some thumbs up real quick, let me know, like you see right now on the screen, saying, Shirley, thank you for tonight's video. I hope you learned something from it. I want you to understand that we don't have a racist president. We have a real president. We have a thorough administration that is working seamlessly and timelessly as fast as they can, because they're taking notes from people they can trust, like Italy, from England, because we know China has allowed this to become way out of control. But let's pray for our country. Let's pray for our president. Let's pray for each other. Let's learn to respect the laws of the land, because of what has happened, we are living the aftermath of irresponsible cultures of people who do not adhere to the same health and sanitation laws. And someone needs to call that out. I would like the news and the White House to start talking more about health and sanitation and cross-pollinating these cultures of people into America who have their children, like you saw in that video. These people bring their children here and they speak English, but they do not, listen, they do not do the same thing that we do. They don't do that. And then their children speak English. Their children speak English and they protect them. Their children are protecting them, but we're not being protected. And that's a problem. We're not protected. So he's stopping us, the American people, this black brother right here filming, like I showed you. He's stopping him from telling the real truth of the story because this is normal for them. But if we as people don't talk about health and sanitation, and shout out to Grind Face TV who exposed this video. You see how he's got his hands in his pants? And she's trying to say, tell him to go away. Tell him to get away from us. He's racist. He's a nigger. Get him away. See, they think we're the enemy, my people. But white colonists, let me help you out. Black people are not your enemy. Your enemy are the people who do not adhere to the laws of America, who not take the responsibility of health and sanitation, because now you are living the aftermath. We are living the aftermath of cultures of people, Asian, Black people who come here in Black communities. And I say Black because they come into the urban communities and plant themselves. And then we're the ones affected by it. And now you're the ones affected by it. We use tools to wash and clean floors and stuff with, and they use it. Look at that meat she's carrying with her hands. Oh, that's just sickening. That's sickening, family. That's sickening. That's sickening. I'm sorry. If we're not going to wake up and understand there's nasty people with nasty ways, and now we're living with it. We're living in a cocktail of the Chinese virus. They should call it cocktail Chinese virus. And the reason why I call it cocktail Chinese virus is because we have allowed the irresponsibility of these other cultures who don't clean, who just do not clean, and we need to clean. And the more we're conscious of it, the more we see the bats and the rats and the snakes that taste like chicken. I believe they bring these meats here, honestly, and they skim them. And then once they skim this meats, you don't know what's in that meat. And they freeze them and they bring them over here. The regulations of the meat, of the cleanliness has to stop. We need more regulation. And once you get all these homeless people up, don't let them people out and get back on them streets, America. They're going to start spraying them streets like in China, like I showed you, how they spray them streets up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay? That's in Florida. You think it's Florida. That's what that video is. Okay. Yeah, I know, knew deep, but that was deep, right? Yucky. Really yucky. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Nasty. See? But guess what? We didn't all probably ate some of that nasty, disgusting meat. Nobody wants to even think that way. But let's have a real, can we talk real, family? Can we talk real? Because we didn't go to these places. We would never think that those people would prepare food in that way. But guess what? Racism is real in America. But the conversation of racism has to be true. And then you can't just claim racist cards because this president was honest and true. This is the president that told the real talk. He told the real talk because he had to. He had to let people know that, look, it's real. It's real. People are eating rats. It's real. People are getting hepatitis A, and it's real. And now we have this virus growing everywhere. The CBC is talking about it. Sky News is talking about it. This is not going away real fast, my people. It's not going away real fast. And the only way that we can make sure that we stay healthy is have conversations with one another, like we're doing tonight, that we stay alert with some of our local news. Shout out to Phil from the Advice Show, who's also covering this. I'm going to be on his show soon, and we're going to talk about it. Gas prices are being affected by it. But the Chinese government, the pandemonium that has been created because of the Chinese government, this government's not telling us the truth, and we know it. And we know it. but they want us to be politically correct. There's no politically correctness now. All bets are off. It's about health and sanitation. So remember that. Remember that. And don't walk in fear. God is not giving you a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. Greater is he that's in us than he that's in the world. We do not operate out of fear or frustration. We use common sense. We use good results. We say good words to each other. But we do not allow others to make us feel guilty when we call out what it is. It is what it is. Chinese virus. It is what it is. An irresponsibility that came from other cultures of people that have created this cocktail virus that is spreading across the globe, that is on an upcline that we do not see a decline in. And it is what it is, that many of us have already been exposed to it and we don't even know it. Many of us have been exposed to it and we don't even know it. Some of us have stronger immune systems than others. Some of us don't. But I think the more we talk about it and the more we support this president and support what he is trying to get across to the American people, and don't be misconstrued and confused by media and the news because they lie. Do your own research, because even Facebook is sensitizing us from our news. I mean, I don't know how many notifications I got from Facebook telling me you can't post this. And it wasn't even a news article I wrote. It was someone else's article who was a legitimate site. They're trying to curtail the real truth about this because they don't want it to seem like we're being xenophobia, whatever that word is, which I'll eventually get to say right. And also, you have these people coming from authoritarian countries. Because they've been dictated over, they bring their dictatorship over to America, and they don't adhere to democracy. And then they get around liberal Democrats who are social liberals and socialists, and it's easy to adhere to that train because that train gives them free stuff. Y'all need to be learning how politics plays, local, state, and federal, and interactual cultural allegations and bylaws that they bring here, and then they adhere their thoughts and their actions to the sides that are our weakest opponents. Yes, we have socialist guidelines. When many people think it's all about capitalists with Republicans, that's not true. I am a Republican, and as a Republican, I believe in capitalism. But as we believe in capitalism, we also understand it is a responsibility of the people and our leaders to balance socialism and the social issues that need to be addressed to. And we're seeing that under this administration. A capitalist leader, a president who is a businessman, who has to bring a balance of social guidelines which adheres to socialism. But socialism has been taken way out of context when it comes to Bernie Sanders or Joe, who I believe has that man got Alzheimer's. Ain't nobody want to tell that, but that's true. If you think about these gentlemen that are running under the Democrat Party, what they want to do is have government pay and do for everything from the working class. Well, ain't nobody working right now. So what we're going to do, drain the government's resources for the mess that China has put us into? How can we recoup our resources? Listen to me. Listen, pay attention. How are we supposed to recoup from our resources that we're going to be withdrawing and losing, and that we're losing right now? How do we recoup from that, my family? Let's have conversations about that. And when I end this video, please make a comment below. And please get the buttons up and subscribe to my YouTube channel and my Facebook fan page. My YouTube channel and my Facebook page. Thank God for my Facebook family. Thank you for sharing this video. If you're on Facebook or if you follow me on Facebook, make sure that you share this on different social group platforms, because the group platforms gives me a broader perspective of people being able to hear my voice and hear our voice, because I believe my voice is your voice. The things I share, the people I bring onto the platform, the conversations that we're having are real. And Pam, you're right. It's a sad part of America when it comes to the immigration laws, because President Trump said we have bad immigration and illegal immigration laws. Now, because of that, he was not able to do what he wanted to do in 2016. Just think of how many people would be living today. Just think how many people have been living today if they would allow that wall to go up and really enforce the illegal immigration. But yes, the Chinese people have been able to get reparations and best. I did a whole video where I talked about the Chinese people, even under President Trump, did an executive order for the Chinese people and the Pacific Islanders. Everybody else is getting paid and benefits off of this administration. But it's because we as people, black and white, Americans and colonists, because I call myself a black colonist, we're not speaking out. We're not saying anything. And there is a responsibility on us to hold government from a state, local, and federal level for the protection of health and sanity, to call out cultures of people who are bringing these things to our attention. And the more we talk about it, the more we bring it to our attention, the more we interact upon it, the better we are. I thank you for watching tonight. Have a good night and a good day. Please get the video a thumbs up. Make sure you share this with your family members and friends. Let's have another conversation. Stay clean, wash your hands, take good long baths when you walk in. Make sure your shoes, spray your shoes. Sometimes we're not spraying our shoes. Remember, this is an airborne virus. And keep your distances. Please don't go to bars and clubs. Stay home, learn to cook, watch videos. Don't let your weight get out of control, because I know many of us are not going to be moving like we're used to. So our bodies will start doing other things. Be conscious of that. And remember, don't allow this to depress you. Let it empower you to understand government. Let it empower you to understand and quiet your mind. Take this time. If you're getting paid to stay home, take this time to quiet your mind, restructure your energy, restructure your home, make some changes. Say, you know what? I'm going to take this and make this a plus for me. And don't live in fear about if you get it or not. Just prepare yourself and be ready for whatever may come about. Let it be good and think good thoughts and let that energy personify and come out. Make sure you subscribe, share, and like. And I thank you for your time. I love you. Good night. And continue to keep your head up. Thank you, family. Until next time.